Shout out to Iran.
We're at war with them, Spoety.
Man, I don't give a they let my people go over there.
We live. Wait. You're with Iran right now?
I'm not with nobody, bro.
You just said shout out to Iran.
Shout out to them. They let my people go over there.
The clip was treated like comedy. It should have been treated as politics. When Spoety Face said, "They let my people go," he was referring to a real historical event. During the 1979 hostage crisis, Iran released 13 American hostages. Among those released were African Americans. Iranian leadership stated Black Americans were themselves oppressed in the United States. That is not rumour, that is history. Yet a factual point was mocked, while ignorance sounded confident. That contradiction is the subject of this video.
The American diplomats who'd been controlling Iran for decades underestimated the siege, carried out by a group of 20-year-olds.
Doughboy says,
You live in the U.S.? What do you mean? I shout out to Iran. We're at war with them.
The first question is simple. Who is we? Most ordinary Americans do not determine foreign policy. They do not decide military confrontation. They do not set strategic objectives. Yet many are encouraged to identify emotionally with policies they did not choose. That is political conditioning. It is worth noticing.
And you saying shout out to Iran, that's goofy.
Bro, how is that goofy?
Respectfully.
How is that goofy, bro?
Because you live here and you saying shout out to them, we at war, that they try to kill us.
He's cooking.
He's not cooking.
No, I am though. That's why I want to pod with you, because I feel like you're a great podcaster. Pod with me.
Okay,
No, I think the argument.
Yeah, why are you soaking away from it?
Nigga.
Stand on your shit.
I mean, can I get a word in? All right, listen. First of all, I said shout out to Iran because they let my people go over there.
What does that mean? They let black people go there? Like,
what are you talking about?
Let him get his stuff off. Let him get his stuff off.
How many times I gotta say it? Yes. They let black people go over there.
Really
so shout out to them for them.
Okay.
Shout out to them for them over there.
Cool.
I didn't say shout out to the war going on. I don't believe in this war.
But we at war, nigga.
But
so you
what
got
does that supposed to mean?
Because you a street, you know what war means, nigga. We at war. Who you side with?
Also, I don't think Spoety.
What type of nigga are you for real? I'm trying to ask.
No, but
I'm a real
Spoety.
one.
I'm trying to ask you, nigga. So you live here, but you repping them? That's.
But I don't think.
Respectfully, that's goofy, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
No, what I'm talking about is where you live.
Why are you raising your voice?
Okay. Let me lower it.
Yeah, come on.
So what I'm saying is this: we are at war with Iran.
I know, but I don't think that means so much because it's an unjust war that Israel dragged us in. So he doesn't have to be in support of that to be an American patriot.
But let me finish with him. So what I'm saying is we are in a serious war right now. People are trying to kill us. We're trying to kill them. You're over here. They're over there. And you're sitting here on a podcast in front of millions of people talking about shout out to Iran. That's goofy as fuck.
They're not trying to kill us, by the way. They're not.
Again, do you even know the history of this war?
Not to the fullest extent.
There is a second contradiction. Hostility was expressed toward Iran, while knowledge about the conflict was openly uncertain. That is a problem. Strong conclusions without serious understanding are often borrowed conclusions. That is how propaganda functions. It feels like personal opinion, but it may be inherited language.
That's why I don't be entertained.
Okay, but we don't even have to do that. But let's talk about right now.
But what you're stating, you're sitting up here to seem like you're upset because I'm saying shout out to Iran and you saying we at war with them right now, but you can't even tell me why we at war with them.
Because I could see him saying that when the Vietnam War was going on and a lot of people felt unjust if they were saying shout out to the Vietnam people. They have nothing to do with the government that's at war with us.
You know, we from the same place. I'm from Sacramento. If I'm riding with you, I'm riding with you. I don't care about
That's not how I am, by the way.
No, but what I'm saying is if you get into it, but if you get into it with somebody, I'm going to ride with my people. You over here and you sitting there shouting them out?
I ride
That's crazy.
No, listen. I ride what's right.
So what are you saying is right? Iran?
Who's saying that?
I'm asking you.
I just told you already. I don't agree with this war, period. But if they're gonna let some black people go over there, shout out to them.
Okay, so about that, yes, I actually asked the AI, does Iran let black people go over there? Yes, black people can travel to and exist in Iran, though there is no specific policy favoring or protecting black Americans, while viral rumors suggesting special safety for black people in Iran are myths.
If it's a myth, then still shout out to them because I heard more of it being true than actually untrue. So what I'm saying? If it's a myth, then it's a myth.
I think it's a myth. They're trying to change public opinion by making black people think that they could be like treated better if they went to Iran.
That could be a possibility because
Then Adam raised a different question. Does Iran let black people go over there? Which ChatGPT interpreted as, do black people receive special treatment in Iran? But that was never the claim. The argument concerned a specific historical act, the release of African American hostages, a documented event. A general question about race relations does not erase a specific fact. It avoids it. And this exposes something else. Access to powerful tools does not equal understanding. Artificial intelligence can retrieve information. It cannot compensate for weak reasoning. If the question is badly framed, the answer may miss the issue entirely. That is what happened. The tool did not expose Spoety Face. It exposed the weakness of the reasoning behind the question. Technology does not replace thought. It magnifies the quality of the person using it.
I see him saying that when the Vietnam War was going on and a lot of people felt unjust if they were saying shout out to the Vietnam people. They have nothing to do with the government that's at war with us.
Mooseman raised the Vietnam War. That comparison was important. The Vietnam War was defended as necessary. History judged it far more critically. That does not prove every later war is identical, but it establishes a principle. Official narratives deserve scrutiny. Questioning war is not irrational. It may be historically informed.
Also heard, you know what I'm saying, that they don't like us as well, but I never been to Iran, so that could be true.
Yeah, when Malcolm X went out there to the Middle East, they treated him pretty good. Yeah. And he felt like he was welcomed and felt like, you know what I'm saying, black people could slide out there. And I'm trusting Malcolm X over Adam 22 and a half.
To shatter the chains of occupation and tyranny. Never forget, my friends, that the Palestinians, much like African Americans in the United States, have been subjected to a heart-wrenching history of suffering and torment. The birth of Israel in 1948 brought forth the mass expulsion and dispossession of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their ancestral homes and land. This is a historic injustice that continues to haunt the lives of Palestinians to this very day. The situation in Palestine serves as a brutal reminder of the consequences of colonialism and the ruthless dispossession of indigenous people. It is an agonizing reminder that the fight for justice knows no borders, and we must stand united in solidarity with all oppressed peoples, whether they reside in the United States, South Africa, or anywhere around the world.
This also has a deeper intellectual tradition. Malcolm X did not see black struggle as isolated. He connected racism to global structures of domination. He linked liberation struggles across borders. That framework matters here, because solidarity across oppressed peoples is not a new idea. It has political history. That is why the example of Palestine matters. When George Floyd was killed, there were public expressions of solidarity in Gaza. There was even a mural. That should not be treated as a minor symbol. It carried meaning, and it carried risk. People living under occupation do not make political statements casually. Public acts of solidarity can have consequences. They can invite scrutiny, punishment, repression. That matters, because it means the gesture was not empty, it was intentional. People facing danger themselves still chose to recognize another oppressed people. That is not performative politics, that is principled solidarity. And it reveals something important. Solidarity is most meaningful when it costs something, especially when it comes from people already living under pressure.
Of Bethlehem. The protest was to show solidarity with black people in the US and also to remind the world of the aggression of Israeli forces against Palestinians.
نقول لكل شعوب العالم ولكل الأحرار في العالم وخاصة للشعب الأمريكي ما حصل لديكم من قتل وتمييز عنصري لدى جورج أيضا يحصل في فلسطين ولكل شهداء فلسطين أيضا.
Protesters in Bethlehem lit candles in front of a photo of George Floyd, who was killed by a US officer, and a photo of Iyad al-Hallaq, an autistic Palestinian man who was shot and killed by Israeli forces in Jerusalem.
This leads back to the core issue. Why did a historical fact sound absurd to some listeners? Why did solidarity sound suspicious, while hostility sounded natural? Those are serious questions because they may reveal how enemy narratives become normalized. And when inherited assumptions go unexamined, political conditioning becomes invisible. And that returns us to the insult. Spoety Face was called a goofy, but he referenced a documented historical fact. That matters, because a society should be concerned when knowledge is mocked and uninformed certainty is rewarded. That is not just a podcast moment, that is a political symptom. If this changed how you see that exchange, comment below, subscribe for more analysis, and share this if you think these conversations deserve more depth.